Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. A contentious contract dispute has come to an end. Bengals first-round pick defensive end Shemar Stewart and the team have reached an agreement on a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract that's worth $18.97 million. That includes a $10.4 million signing bonus. According to NFL Network, Stewart agreed to the contract language the Bengals wanted, and in return, he's getting $500,000 of his signing bonus up front, instead of being paid out in December. This comes on the heels of Bengals owner Mike Brown, who spoke out about the situation on Monday.
I don't want to pay somebody who hypothetically could be in jail for 4 years at this level of pay. And do I think any of that's going to happen? No. And that's why I use the word foolishness. It's, in my mind, at that level. We want to get it done. We want to get him in here and working. He's a good young guy, and he's someone we think will be important to our team this year.
Those comments certainly made headlines. John Breech wrote about it on CBSSports.com. We're going to talk about it right now because a deal is finally done as we welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer John Breech and co-host of the Pushing the Pile podcast, Mike Renner. Good to be with both of you. The last unsigned first-round pick is headed to training camp. John, what's your reaction to this deal finally getting done between Shemar Stewart and the Bengals?
Well, the one thing that doesn't surprise me is that the void language is there. The Bengals played hardball, and they essentially won. They only gave up the $500,000 in extra signing bonus money, as you mentioned at the top, Akeem. And I was down there on Monday with Bengals owner Mike Brown, with Director of Player Personnel Duke Tobin, and those two were very frustrated with negotiations. You could tell that they weren't happy with the negotiation. They weren't happy with Shemar Stewart's agent, Zach Hiller. They weren't happy about anything, and it did not feel like at any point that the Bengals were going to blink in this game of chicken. This negotiation was not going to end unless that void language ended up in the contract. And we heard Mike Brown say, hey, we don't want to pay someone who's in jail. So they basically just wanted language that said if Stewart got arrested or if he got suspended for some on-the-field behavior, that they would have the right to void out some of that guaranteed money. And now they have that right to. And this brings them up into line with the rest of the NFL, because most NFL teams already have this void language in their rookie contracts. The Bengals now do. This will make life easier for them down the road with future rookies. And it looks like Shemar Stewart got a small little pay bump in his signing bonus. But ultimately, it feels like the Bengals got what they wanted and won this negotiation.
Yeah, they had all the leverage on their side in terms of the court of public opinion. You're in Cincinnati. I was in Cincinnati last weekend. Everyone basically who's a Bengals fan was on the side of the Bengals here saying, what the heck is Shemar Stewart doing? You know, when it's the team saying we just don't want to pay you if, you know, you break the law or you're in jail or you break the rules, it's like every fan is going to be like, yeah, that seems reasonable. So to hold out over that, to me, Shemar Stewart had to be there. He needs the reps. He only had 4.5 sacks his collegiate career. This is a guy that is very underdeveloped hitting the NFL. He needs to be on the practice field. Thankfully, he's going to be there soon.
All right, John, now that he's signed and the deal is behind them, the language is been agreed upon, what are your expectations for him in year one? In the meantime, and we're going to get to this as we wait on Trey Hendrickson, so you know that they're going to try to get him up to speed now.
Right, Shemar Stewart wasn't on the practice field at minicamp. He did show up for a day. He's already missed 3 practices of training camp. And as Mike said, it was essential to get this deal done because they need to get him on the field. The coaching staff feels like he's a raw talent. He's somebody they have to mold into the star that they think he can be. But as Mike just mentioned, he only had 4.5 sacks during his college career. So you don't know that he's going to step out on this field and be a superstar. But the Bengals need to develop him as quickly as possible, because we all saw what this defense was last season, and besides Trey Hendrickson, they didn't have much, especially in the pass rushing department. So they really need Shemar Stewart to step up and be somebody they can count on as soon as week 1. So getting him in there as soon as possible is absolutely essential, and now he'll be there for their 4th training camp practice.
Yeah, the Bengals still have the other contract dispute to deal with. Star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, as we mentioned, led the NFL with 17.5 sacks last season. He is a training camp holdout, wants a contract extension that reflects his recent production. It all makes sense, Mike. I mean, everything adds up. Pay the guy. This is a guy that even as a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm sitting there going, what are you guys doing? So, Mike, how might the Stewart deal impact Hendrickson now getting a deal?
I do think it's not going to help Hendrickson. All the recent stuff has only pushed the price that Hendrickson's going to want up a little bit higher, whether it's the TJ Watt deal, who's actually older than Trey Hendrickson, getting the $43 million a year he got, or this, where the Bengals now say, you know, hey, Trey, we have a few pass rushers. We have 2 former first rounders that we can send out there. We don't need to pony up and pay you. So I do think these sides may be at odds for much longer, and it may trickle into the regular season at this point.
Yeah, when you look at Trey Hendrickson, the one thing that's very interesting here is that he wants to get a deal done. He's made it vocal that he wants to be in Cincinnati. And on Monday, when Mike Brown and Duke Tobin spoke about the negotiation, they seemed optimistic that something was going to get done. And then, of course, Trey Hendrickson, who was in Ohio last weekend, went to Florida and went to Jacksonville. So clearly he wasn't happy with how negotiations played out as the week went on. But I do think that the Bengals understand that Trey Hendrickson is really the only superstar on their defense, the only proven commodity. He's a guy that absolutely needs to be in the lineup in week 1. So I do think that the two sides will get back to the negotiating table soon and try to hammer out a deal. It's just a matter of getting those guarantees. The Bengals standard contract really doesn't offer any guarantees past year 1. They haven't really deviated outside of that except for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's contract. Trey Hendrickson wants 2 or 3 years worth of guarantees. So they've just got to figure that out. And they need to do it soon because Trey Hendrickson is somebody they can't afford to not have when the regular season starts.
Bengals won their final 5 games after a 4-8 start last season. Missed the playoffs, looking for a much better start this year. In week 1, Cincinnati plays on the road against AFC North rival, the Cleveland Browns. Mike Renner and John Breech here with us on CBS Sports HQ. Men, thanks.